Hey, good morning. It's 8:49 a.m. It is June 8th. It is Saturday morning. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day outside. Of course, we're getting closer to summer, so it's getting hotter and hotter outside. That I don't like. I do not like summer for that very reason. It's the heat. Okay, I think the flowers, the seasonal flowers are beautiful. I like the fact that the sun goes down late at night, but I think everybody can agree is that it's the heat that kills them. Now, growing up in the Antelope Valley, I know that there were times where it got to be like, sometimes it was 100, those kind of temperatures. It can be that way kind of where I am right now, but I just remember the Antelope Valley being very, very hot, especially around August. So we still have a few months to go of this heat. It's only going to get worse, so brace yourselves. Anyway, so I just got up this morning, and of course, I'm an early riser. I've always been, I'm just someone who's used to getting up early in the morning because I've always been the kind of person who wants to get the best out of their day, get the best out of everything, right? And sometimes enjoying the morning is like the best opportunity. Yeah, I would say the best opportunities come in the morning. Why? Because this is for me, okay? And mind you, everybody has different body chemistry. It depends on what it is you're thinking. What were you doing last night? It has a lot of different components to it. But I do like to get up in the morning and try to figure out, okay, what is it that I want to do for this day, and that way it gives me enough time. I think everybody knows right now I'm kind of like at a stalemate. I've been doing a lot of thinking about, this issue that has been going on for a very long time with my struggles of detaching. I've made a very clear request to detach from this particular network, and of course we all know the story of them like messing with me at the 9 to 5, and then trying to cause me problems where I'm setting up my Patreon channel. And of course, I've gotten more downloads and information on, what the heck was going on. Why would they do this sort of thing? And, it to me, like I said, I'm not comfortable with it. I'm very disappointed in the behavior of some people. And it's just outright shocking to be. I'm starting to get a lot of insight into the world of these people. Okay, and I will say that it's shocking to me because all your life you think a certain way. Because these people are like flashed in front of you. They're flashed. Your pictures are flashed in front of you. Their images are flashed in front of you. The things that they do, are you see them in certain situations. Like you either see them singing, or they're appearing on an interview, or they're waving at the public or whatever, and you don't know who these people really are. Okay, you don't really think about are they members of the Ku Klux Klan? Do they spank their kids? Do have disciplinary actions? I mean, you wonder what exactly, you don't know them like that. Now, my mom was the kind of person who would make an effort to know celebrities, like know their every little thing, because some people become obsessed with them, okay? And because my mom was a housewife, she didn't have much time on her hands. So, I remember, when she would send me down to the grocery store, she would have me pick up the Star and the Enquirer. And she would like, and mind you, I know that I call it secondhand information, things that are put in the press. Sometimes they're what do you call it, exaggerated. Maybe there's really nothing that happened at all. Sometimes I think there's even some truth in exaggeration. They might have like been seen doing something, but they really weren't doing what the article says they were doing. People switch things up and around. Okay, so I always felt as though putting my attention to celebrities' personal lives, their personal issues, who they were outside of what they did for a living, was really none of my business, and I never really had a burning desire to know. Okay, and there were some people that kind of intrigued me, like I remember there was a particular article about this particular singer. many years ago, and it was like my parents were talking about it, and like I was kind of interested only because it showed me a side of this person that I thought was kind of shocking. Okay, because I remember, like, for example, when I was little, I used to watch Little House on the Prairie, right? I used to watch Little House on the Prairie, and I think everybody thought like Charles Ingalls was like this, wonderful person. But then when my mom told me in real life that he had an affair, right? Because, I was thinking that you think that people you're building character, or like, you merge their television character in with who they are as a person, okay? And I just remember my mom thinking that that was the most disappointing person. He was just a bad person. He was suddenly a bad person, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, there's more to it than that, okay? I'm not saying that he should have had an affair. I'm just saying is we don't know what led up to it. There's all kinds of things. I always wanted to understand why, but still, I would think people like Charles Ingalls was considered like a goody two shoes, and nobody wants to think of him that way, right? Anyway, I have made a decision in my life to never really get involved like with celebrities, like be in their business. Um, some people just they do that. Like I know I log online to get in my email, and I get a lot of like celebrity notices or something. And don't get me wrong, there's sometimes even I break down and watch them. Okay. But I'm not the kind of person who feels like I just need to know, I'm burning, I need to know everything about them. I'm on the level of being obsessed. You know what I mean? I'm not like that. Okay. But anyway, I do know that in the course of my targeting, that I was abused by a lot of celebrities. Okay. Some of these celebrities thought it, I think a lot of them were fueled by this whole thing about the propaganda issue. And then a lot of people may have been discontent with their lives, and they wanted to take it out on me. And some of these celebrities are people that I've known, or seen all my life, might have had respect for them or whatever. Now, I do understand that celebrities, it seems as though they're, or at least at one time, were involved in this like network. I think it's like an uncontrollable network that they just get sucked up in. I don't understand exactly how that works. I think there's maybe a lot of manipulation that goes on in, I'm going to call it the industry, okay? And when I say the industry, I'm saying, and I'm assuming, okay, that it covers people who sing and people who may appear in like, TV shows or music, movies or something like that. Just celebrities in general, okay? Now, I understand, like, there's something that people find me challenging, okay? And so there were a lot of people who just really were obsessed about sticking it to me, like, just like, fuck this person, and it's weird because I have never done anything to these people. I have always, like, thought of them, like, highly, or at least valued them as musicians. I don't really know them well as people, but it was just like this sick fucking what am I gonna call it? I'm gonna say pathological to a certain degree, anger towards me for just being who I am. Okay, and I do think that there was, of course, a circus conductor who was riling up the troops. You know what I mean? And I don't think I need to describe these people because I've kind of already mentioned them, right? Now, the world of celebrities is, I can honestly say that I don't know much about it, okay, other than what I'm getting from my intuitive downloads. And I also do know that just like any other business deal, there's usually a contract, or there should be, okay? I'm getting a sense that there's some people who have been perhaps financially exploited by people who were managing their career, and that's unfortunate. Okay, it's very unfortunate, but this is kind of stuff that goes on when you're dealing with business. Business makes like people hounds. It makes people hungry, and it brings out the dishonesty in people. And this is something that I fully understand. Okay, and people will try to make money off of other people. You ever seen like, to me, I used to always think that like things like employment agencies were kind of like, I call them the middleman. Okay, middlemen, because middlemen are there to exploit when they could be overstepped. Okay, and like, let me give you an example of that. Okay, like we have, let's just say we have, I'm going to call it Second Chance Employment Agency. Okay, because that's the only name that I can think of. Okay, here's Second Chance Employment Agency. Okay, and here's a candidate who's looking for a job. Okay, they're looking for a job in, I can't think of anything. So since I used to work in a county, let's just say it's a county. Okay, and then there's a company that they want to work for. She wants to work for, I don't know, a place called Real Oldies, right? She could just go out and look for those jobs, but we have these people who are trying to make money off of a situation of employment, you know. And I would say, when I was growing up, a lot of employment agencies were, some people would put them in the category as like just outright scams. But and I knew, I worked for an employment agency for a while, and I understood their techniques on how to find candidates, and then also how to match them up with the employer. Okay, so when my real feeling about the whole issue is I only looked at employment agencies as middlemen that should and possibly could be eliminated. Why? Because like I said, it's a person who wants to cling on to make something off of another individual. Okay, so, I personally, when I was targeted, I did go to employment agencies mainly because I didn't realize how deep this issue was and how, sick and toxic it was. And I was in some sort of program and all this other stuff. But I also did it because, I understand as a person who was looking for work that it was very difficult for me to do it all by myself. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with targeting and stuff like that. Then I realized, okay, these people are absorbed into it and everything else. And it just got like, oh my gosh, this is an outright crime. Okay, it's a crime. But my point is that you deal with a lot of um, people who feel as though they want to make it. There's always somebody who wants to make money. When in fact they really should not be there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's something that could be sidestepped. And then sometimes you have forms of I don't know, government control that's corrupt that tries to make it so that they are a third party that can't be overstepped in their own mind. Okay, when in legal forms, everything indicates that they're not supposed to be there in the first place because by being involved, that violates, the rules, laws, whatever, everything that we're supposed to stand for. Okay, so I don't believe that there's advancement in groups. I prefer, and when I say that, I mean like advancement in any group, really, for me. Okay, now that's not to say that there's not any organizations that didn't actually do something that was productive, but unfortunately, when people have groupthink, they might have the fire to accomplish something, but they may not all share the same fire to actually accomplish it, the method of accomplishing it. And this is what I find extremely draining. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I knew when I was younger that this chick flies solo. Like I choose to do things on my own, and because like I had mentioned, how frustrating it was when I would get up early, really wanting to get the cool glassware and all the cool stuff at the garage sales, and I would deal with people who were just like just getting out of bed or whatever. It's like I already knew that if you want something done, do it yourself. I honestly do not feel empowered by working in a group. I never have. Okay. Now I did like working in a group when like I had something written out something and I like handle it down and then have people do it. That's different. Okay. But when like you're trying to create something or you're trying to get the seeds planted or whatever in something that you truly believe in and you got these so-called helpers that are just basically doing stuff that's throwing you way off course. Now I had these particular people and I'm not going to mention any names, who were trying to help, quote unquote, help me, but they were actually trying to sabotage me. And so this is one of the reasons why, I had made that video a couple days ago about so-called kingdom spouses, partnerships, forced marriages, forced, what all this other stuff. This sort of stuff should never happen. And to me, it's insane why somebody would think that this was an okay thing. It was never an okay thing. Okay, but what it was an opportunity for people to gang up on me. You know what I mean? And this is the kind of stuff that, you know, I obviously didn't deserve. You know what I mean? And it makes me lose respect for people. You know what I mean? It makes you wonder what kind of an animalistic person would do that to another human being. This is the main thing that I think of. Like, what the fuck would you do that for? You know what I mean? But people get jealous and they get competitive, okay? So what's going on over there, like for example, my issue on my online social media or whatever, is that there's a lot of people who, some people they just jealous of you or they resent you just because. And there's a lot of people who have a lot of just like nothing but negativity and spite in them, and they will hate you for whatever reason. And the very fact that I was dealing with, I'm going to call it royal targeting, where these people were like, attacking me, and at the time, people looked at them as unquestionable. Like their world word was golden. Okay, now people are starting to look at this and like, wait, this is pretty fucked up. I got sucked into something that I would never ask for. I'm a rival to no one. Like I have no interest in competing with anybody. Okay, I am just somebody who simply is going about their life. Okay, but at the time, people were choosing sides. Okay, and so they wanted to sit here and appease people who they thought were powerful and whatever. And this is what made people so goddamn demonic towards me. Whatever. Okay, but I have never believed that group people, each person in that group has their own agenda. Okay, so when you're trying to get something done, you know, I believe in doing it myself. Okay, and it's not about me trying to be independent to the point of where I do not want to cooperate. This sort of group was forced upon me. Okay, meaning there is no reason why these people should have been in my shit in the first place. Okay, I do not feel any sort of empowerment, motivation, drive, or anything within groups. Okay, now I don't need helpers. Okay. At this point, right now, I'm trying to re-strategize. I do not need like people coming in and trying to fuck my shit up. Obviously, you guys have fucked it up already, and I can tell you how many times you guys have screwed things up. Okay. First, we had Justin Hayward thinking that he had some sort of. I don't care. I'm throwing out his name. I don't really care. Okay, at this point. And yes, I see the sloppy thing that they try to do to try to cover this shit up, and I'm really not impressed with it. Okay, I don't care. The fact is that what this person did, they showed they had absolutely no regard for me, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Meaning, I don't even know this person very well. Okay, but it was definitely a hate crime, and it's going to be classified. It is a hate crime. Okay, I'm basically minding my own business, and these people are coming in nitpicking everything that they fucking hate about me, that they're jealous of, or they covet, or whatever, to the other point where they're trying to make things, make a situation where a person like me cannot exist. This is what I was talking about yesterday, okay, about people who are squashing out people's natural rights within this country. Okay, so they might see somebody, and somebody just got some new furniture, right? And like you're thinking, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Your furniture's old. You have the right to replace it. You have the money to replace it. Go ahead and replace your furniture, right? Well, there's somebody who's across the street from you, and they're jealous, and they're like, okay, you know what? She's replacing her furniture. How dare she upgrade? And then she's got someone she's calling, and now all of a sudden these people are conspiring, and now they're going to create problems for you. That's a form of harassment. It's obviously against your rights, and this is the kind of shit that people are doing. Okay, if you choose to do something like maybe you just went to a hair salon, okay, and you ended up dyeing your hair or something. Here we got these people who are jealous, looking at you, calling in, talking to people, conspiring against you, and the next thing you know, they're trying to create problems to where you can't fucking exist. They're putting the wheels in motion of genocide for your new haircut, for your new hair color, for your new what do you call it, lawnmower that you just purchased, for the new little cute mailbox that you made for your house or whatever. Or now you're taking up a class or arts and crafts, somebody feels like they need to report you for that too. This is the kind of stuff that's going on right now. These genocide plots, okay, that people really think. And what bothers me about this is the fact that it's the mentality of people who really feel in their mind that these issues are justified, that they would actually think that this would be a part of the legal system to where you can actually think that this would be something that you could prevent somebody from doing. This is the weird part. So I'm dealing with people who are ignorant, extremely ignorant, okay? Now, that bothers me. Why does it bother me? Because when you deal with people like, it's almost like you're dealing with imps, like lower level entities, you know what I mean? Like, or something weird and creepy like that have so much jealousy that they're so blinded that they can't function and think straight. You know what I mean? I'm not comfortable with that. I don't need helpers. Okay. Now, if I like I said, I was interested in collaborating with people, but the thing is that, right now, my issue is me to figure out, okay, what is the next thing? Obviously, there is a quirk, an issue going on with my Patreon. They damaged that. Justin Hayward damaged that. I'm going to say it. Justin Hayward damaged that along with Jackie and Eddie Arambula. Why? Because they thought it was their responsibility after I don't even work for Jackie anymore, meaning she is an employer that I left. Once I leave her place of employment, her only responsibility is to be legally is to be a reference. That is it. She's a reference for potential future employers. She's a reference for things like certain agencies where you're trying to get some sort of benefit, like maybe the EDD, the EDD, right? Like if they're, you're renewing your unemployment benefits, you have to fill out that form and then it goes back to the employer. That's it. Okay, and the problem with it is that we have these employers that really overstep their boundaries. Okay, and the things that they do is just shocking. They don't have a right to do that. They don't have a right to do that. Okay. And see, the reason why they thought that they had the right to do that is because of people like Gemini 14. Okay, it's like people that they thought they were following, like Scorpio 20. You guys misled people. Okay, and the problem with it is like you guys have these positions, and this is what caused the problem. Okay, but I don't need helpers. Okay, and I think I've made myself very clear about what I need to do and re-strategize. Okay, and right now I don't even have a clear idea on how all that's going to work, mainly because you continually damage my business model for a political agenda that you have. You believe that men should be over women regardless of her safety, regardless of what it is that she needs. Okay, and all I need is to be away from people who have abused me. Okay, and it's as simple as that. I don't want somebody who thinks it's okay for me to have to endorse something, like something that I look at is something that I'm not comfortable with. Okay, I'm not comfortable with any of that. So what you did by forcing me to deal with or having Justin Hayward come in and start messing up my shit, that was traumatizing enough. Okay, it was traumatizing enough. I think basically of what I was able to generate just recently on my social media, you can tell that I don't need anyone. Now, I remember when I was working over at my last place, BT Trucking. I don't really care. I'm going to go say it, right? I knew that I was tapped out then. I was tapped out. I was sick and damn tired of having to endure the same setup over and over again. The same toxicity, the same bullshit, the same game playing that I don't want to play. Same continuation of the game that must have originated, and it's been going on for a long time, but the peak of it started at Murray Family Farms place. So a lot of times they would bring up the same fucking conversations about stuff that's subjective. Okay, they bring up these subjects that were long done into another workplace. Okay, it's harassment, and I said it before. It's like this is shit that's gonna rack up a lawsuit. These people should have been sued a long time ago, right? And so, these people, malicious people who assisted Justin Hayward, okay, want to sit here and act like they're my friend now. You know what I mean? I believe that some people are repentant. Yeah, I do. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you know what? If you're really that repentant, you wouldn't be stepping on my Patreon shit, right? You would have speeded this shit up. So I am at this point, I have to make sure that I stay within my bubble. Meaning I'm just trying to focus on my stuff, which is what I've always done, okay? I don't need people helping me or trying to redirect me or trying to, put in certain stipulations as to how I can and cannot make money. Now, I do believe this mindset from these particular celebrities is coming from a lifestyle or something that they may have experienced themselves. This is one of the reasons why I personally think, I had mentioned that a few days ago I had this vision of a circus tent, okay? And I do know that the circus in general does have, I don't know if I haven't seen these circuses come around in town in a long time, okay? But I do know that a lot of people note their unethical practices when it comes to them dealing with their personnel, like their employees and stuff like that. Some of these people work long hours without breaks. Some people, these people are working in situations where they don't get paid, and then some people are also being forced to not be able to help themselves. Meaning, like, let's just say, for example, within the industry, you might be a singer, okay, and so maybe it's just not feasible, possible, or like within your regular schedule to have concerts. I guess so that's how, like, a lot of money making generating type things take place or whatever. But it's just not convenient at the moment to do that, right? So you got to figure out some other way to make your bills. Okay, you gotta figure out some other way, and so you want to take on a different project, and then you've got people who are saying that they can't do these sort of things because they're giving them some sort of reason, because they want to have complete and total financial control over what that person does. Okay, now this is what I'm I'm getting this vision of where people are getting financially exploited being in these celebrity setups. And I'm not saying all celebrities are like this, but I do have this vision that a lot of celebrities are being on things like, food stamps and stuff like that. Okay, and so you got to wonder, because you got to question these sort of things, because, and don't get me wrong, okay, but a lot of people are under the impression that celebrities got it made in the shade, okay, and I understand that, especially now, because when I'm looking back, I would say the Swan Song Manifesto is somebody who constantly refers to this system as like this big disappointment, this huge fucking goddamn disappointment, like, because they make everything seem so enticing. Like when you were younger and you saw people on TV, on movies, or you've seen them doing albums or whatever, you think these people are living the high life and that's it. But from what I understand, that's not always the case. Okay, and so first of all, I feel sorry for anybody who is in a position where they are trying to better themselves and somebody is bullying them and saying that they can't. Okay, but you know what? Some of these people, like for example, I know Justin Hayward. He was somebody who was trying to abuse me because he only understands a system of abuse because he's probably experienced it himself. And so he feels as though, well, I've been abused and this is how you get people to do things. And so all the way down the line, okay? And plus adding the fact that people resented the fact that I was an intelligent person. A lot of people resented the fact that I was not just an intelligent person, I was an intelligent black person, and that was just make them enraged, okay? There's a lot of group mentality, a lot of other celebrities that were working alongside of him that got involved in this hate campaign, hate crime, hate, and that's exactly what it is, okay? And mind you, I have done absolutely nothing to any of these people, okay? These people are filled with spite, anger, and mainly frustration, and they are of the discontented. Why are they of the discontented? It could be a number of things, okay? But I do think a lot of these people are not able to fully express themselves because they must be dealing with some sort of dictatorship that is preventing them from fully expressing themselves and living their life, which causes people to what? Act out and hurt other people. Okay? I didn't deserve your shit. Okay? And I do understand. I don't agree with their professions being treated like it's some sort of, like they're not, whatever. But I do know that I do feel and sense a lot of these people get taken advantage of. And I do know that God knows I've been taken advantage of. Now, I don't really consider, I know there's a lot of people who celebrities are getting lumped into like this big category of stuff, okay? And so I had got a vision that some people think of me as a celebrity. And the only reason why they do that is because I have a content channel. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Patreon, and I'm on social media, okay? And I think mainly it's because my biological mother is a full-on, celebrity. Okay, but I understand that there's a lot that goes on in the world of celebrities. Okay, I understand that it's not all glitz and glam, and I understand that it's not all what they say it is. Okay, I don't deserve your views. I don't deserve it. Okay, and it makes me feel like, what the hell? Why the hell would you do something like that? You know what I mean? Especially, but I do understand why. Okay, number one, you were probably wanting to impress the main person who was attacking me, which is probably the pyramid peeps. Okay, so you're going to be choosing sides. It's always about sides, you know, and the reason why it's about sides is because the pyramid peeps want to take out their revenge on people that they knew, or that bloodlines, or I call it ancestral bloodline type of rival type weird stuff that went on like centuries or whatever ago, and that I don't have time for or even have an interest in, and I'm shocked about it because it's like, you know, I never thought that I was one of those people, but whatever. Yeah, I do understand that I was like, some of these celebrities ganged up on me because they were angry because I had left their network. I had left BT Trucking. I had left their network, and the minute I opened my Patreon channel, this is when they got angry because I was doing well without them, and this is why they were angry about it. So then they wanted to punish me. Okay, this is a kind of narcissistic, illogical, abusive, circular type behavior that I was dealing with in this. I said goodbye after I was leaving BT Trucking. Okay, you had no right to follow me. You had no right to come and associate yourself with me. Justin Hayer is not my business partner. I don't have partners. Okay, I don't have partners, and I'm not somebody. And my philosophy of life does not think or view or value the idea of partnerships. I'm not saying they shouldn't exist. I'm just saying is, if you understand what's for your highest good, which I do, partnerships are not it. Okay, so I do understand that the pyramid peeps, they do know that they're not worthy. Okay, of I totally talked about the hypothetical party, right? The hypothetical party, which I think is funny, right? Because it's like, it is hypothetical, right? But these hypothetical like scenarios does kind of set the foundation as to saying, you know what, this is what is acceptable in my life, and this is what is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable for somebody to shoot you in the back. Like, you know, you're here, you're existing, you're doing your thing, you're trying to figure out what's going on. I was constantly getting attacked in school by other people for dumb stuff, you know, being spied on, reported on for dumb stuff. Okay, and then all because you like to have duels with your rivals. Now, this is an unfair duel, obviously, because I don't have the way means of protection. I don't even have a heads up. I had no idea that, you know, somebody would even do this. Although I did, kind of, okay, because I do remember reading about bloodline targeting, but I remember seeing some targeted individuals talking about it. And because, you know, it was just information that I quickly took and observed and took in, I kept thinking, and I seriously did, I kept thinking, okay, maybe they want to feel important. They want to feel like, you know, they're a part of this, I don't know, suspenseful thriller case where, you know, they have this bloodline and people are trying to create problems with them, creating drama, make it seem interesting, where it seems more interesting than just like an old disgruntled co-worker is after you, you know. I really didn't, I kept thinking some of these people were just like, you know, maybe trying to be more important than what they were, right? But apparently this is what the issue is like, this is basically bloodline targeting, okay? It's basically attacking me for my bloodline. And poor little Prince Elame, who honestly was, to me, an innocent kid. He didn't deserve any of that. And, you know, it disturbs me. I'm glad that matchmaking will not take place again. I think that was a very poor choice. And I had made it very clear. The reason, and here's the thing, Pyramid Peeps, the reason why I am the way that I am is because of being a part of your system. Okay? This was a Nazi experiment that you oversaw at some point. Okay, I personally think and suspect that the people who were spying and going around the schoolyard and stuff perhaps were instructed by the Pyramid Peeps at that time. Okay, so I do believe that there was, you know, that you were responsible for what happened in my life and the bad things that happened from my life and the cause of much of my trauma. And this is why I ask myself, my God, can't you see what you've already done? And I understand that you look at me as a rival. That disturbs me. Okay, because I'm tired of dealing with your abuse. I'm sick of dealing with it. I care not at all about your competition. I don't care. I've seen you for years, okay? Years, okay? See you in magazines. I couldn't help but see you in magazines. My mom had the Star of the Enquirer. I would see you pop up on TV, or at least one of you guys pop up on TV. I would see you while I was sitting there at the grocery store in line, seeing your face on tabloids, okay, or whatever. Okay, I'm aware of who you are. I never had any idea, never crossed my mind to ever have any sort of animosity or create any problems with you. Okay, I remember hearing other people talk about you, express their opinion about you, and it was just never really, I just recognized you guys who you were, and that was what it was. Okay, so I mean, I find the fact that you could suck up somebody's life for this long and continue to sit here and play games, it's just like, it's shocking to me. And I'm glad, yeah, keep your toxic people away from you. Justin Hayward was a bad idea, okay? And it seems like any celebrity would be a bad idea for matchmaking. You know why? Because I don't need to deal with that sort of mentality. It seems as though a lot of celebrities have that sort of mentality, and that's something I really don't want to deal with, okay? Especially on a romantic level. Okay, so now I'm trying to re-strategize what you guys just did. Okay, we talked about laws and stuff like that. And I've been talking about that, and because I do believe that that is the only way that issues do ultimately get resolved. Okay, because the thing is that I believe I live my life in a very ethical way. It's not about being goody two shoes, but it is about somebody who's trying to have balance in their life. I don't like having conflict in my life. I don't like going to bed at night knowing that I have a bad conscience. So the only way that you can do that is, of course, follow the law. And then, of course, I live a life, as an adult, I live a life to where I don't feel as though I need to get off of that path. Like, I don't feel like I need to get something so bad. Like, I would have never done what these celebrities and your little entourage did to me. I would never cross my mind to steal or jump in or bully somebody out of something that is rightfully theirs. It would never ever occur to me to do something like that. Okay, so to me, it's like I just feel like I want to live a life that is good. I want to make sure that I have a clean conscience. I don't want to abuse other people. Okay, I want to stay in my own lane. I only want to stay in my own lane, and I feel as though the damage that you've caused, my view of it is like, I'm shocked. I'm shocked, you know what I mean, that you would do something like that. And I have zero interest in being part of it. But at this point, I'm not going to try to keep any commitments on Patreon this month, mainly because I'm trying to re-strategize, because I have the right to do that. Okay, you have damaged my business model quite a few times. Okay, the first time is when, number one, coming in the first place. Okay, I had already said back when I left BT Trucking that I'm no longer wanting to be a part of the network. Okay, so you had Justin Hayward acting like he was my partner, okay, and orchestrating stuff, which enraged me. Okay, finding all of this out, it enraged me. Okay, that man would have been whatever. That's just horrible. Okay. I'm trying to protect myself from the abuse that you initially started from the very get-go. My abuse and every struggle that I had is your fault, period. Okay, that means all the struggles that I had in childhood, all the bullying that I had to deal with is your fault. And then you're going to bring in this ass clown, Justin Hayward, to come in and orchestrate my stuff, only because you feel as though a man is supposed to do that. I have been abused by your system. Your system is what abused me. So I'm trying to avoid it, okay? Everything that you've done to me has been destructive, okay? So Justin Hayward and his other fucking clown puppets, hey, they got what they deserve, all right? But I need to figure stuff out. It is illogical for you to think that that it's okay for me to sit around and try to figure out, okay, I haven't been paid in 7 months, and I'm pumping out content. I'm pumping out, those are my assets, okay? And people like you are sitting here viewing it, and I'm not getting anything. The word that comes to mind when I think of you is greed. That's the word that comes to me, greed. Anyway, good. I'm glad there's not going to be any pressure to force me into any sort of conversion of a religion. You have proven yourself that your religion is about control. That is what it's about. Okay, it's not about being enlightened. It's not about morals. God knows it's not about morals. It's not about being a better person. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying in any way when I say this that I'm putting Jesus down. Okay, but I am talking about this power structure that get people come around trying to force you, attaching religious values into work environments and trying to force people into accepting what I look at as the mark of the beast. That's how I look at it. But I'm glad. Thank you for not bothering me with that anymore. Also, I do understand that there is admission within this group that yeah, you guys were jealous. Okay, so that and it's always like they just always justify their criminal acts. This is I've seen so many people justify their criminal acts like, well, I was jealous. That's like they feel like that's a natural response. I was jealous, therefore I have the right to terrorize you. I was jealous, therefore I have the right to take from you. This is this illogical thinking that people have in society that I recognize, okay? And I do not like talking about politics for several reasons, okay? And I've been quiet for very many years about it, mainly because I've known in the past that people use politics as a way of starting arguments. Especially, this is one of the reasons why I don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Because I know when I was younger, people would be like, oh, especially around voting time, I just got done voting, who did you vote for? And it's like people would start, when people bring up politics, a lot of times they're bringing it up because they subliminally want to start a racial argument. Believe it or not, okay? And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people do it. It's their way of getting around, the sticky stuff is what they do. So they bring it up. And to me, it's like, okay, you know what? This is work. I'm at work. I'm here to work. I'm here to pay my bills. I'm not going to get involved in it. So I would just say, I'm not involved in politics. And I'm not involved in politics, okay? So I understand that your justification is because you're jealous, and therefore I've heard so many people have used this as an excuse, and this is like I'm saying. I understand what society is, okay, and I understand that they do have very low morals, and I do understand that their thought process is very off, okay, regardless of the fact that they claim to be the most educated people, blah 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 blah. Okay, I have been observing society for a very, very long time. And yes, I've kept notes. And believe me, like I said, you notice, I believe, I don't know if it's still on it, but I refer to myself as a philosopher when I first opened up this channel. Okay, I have my own way of viewing life, which I have the right to. Okay, and I've watched this, and I've seen the bullshit mistakes that people make, and you know what? I don't want it. So I have the right to reject that. Also, I get the feeling that it's okay. I don't have to feel pressure to socialize with people. Okay, if I want to talk to somebody, I will talk to somebody, but I don't have to feel pressure to do that. And I do understand there was a lot of people who were sent to talk to me, like flying monkeys, set up to like pretend, and to sit here and like orchestrate some sort of backstabbing in the past. Okay. Now I get, like I said, I get the feeling there's a lot of people who are in deep regret for the shit that they did. Okay, but let this be a lesson to you. All right, a lot of you guys don't even know what you believe. Okay, and a lot of you guys have probably been treated like cattle, and your mentality shows it. Like you don't have the ability to make wise decisions. You think like the group, you function like the group, and you act as a group. Okay, there's nothing about group mentality when it comes to me. Okay, so at this point, like I said, I'm not forcing myself to keep my Patreon commitments, which is usually like 4 videos a month. Okay, this is unacceptable to me. It is unacceptable for the damage that was caused to my business model. Okay, number one, by Justin Hayward. Number two, when I made an attempt to split my prices, then I took a cut, right? Because originally it was $15. I took a cut, and the reason why I took a cut, took a cut because I was hoping that my cash would be liquefied at the time and available for me for withdrawal. Okay, still fucking around, fucking around, fucking around, and fucking around. Okay, so then what did I do? I'm at this point where it's like, okay, I have basically lost my car. Okay, I am not able to contribute to my household, meaning like I'm relying on my son, which I don't like doing. Okay, because of your obsession of trying to beat down my family line. That's what it is, and no other reason. Okay, and it's not like, and it's not. The thing is, you stole me in the first place. Okay, so to me, it's like, wow, you know, do you honestly think that? I'd be okay with that. It's unjust no matter how you look at it, right? Anyway, so I wanted to come on here and make this video. I am doing what I can do, the best I can do. Okay, mind you, I was booted out of the 9 to 5 because of your unfair business practices, and I completely didn't even suspect you guys being in part of that in the first place. This is why it took me by surprise, like, oh my gosh, I think I'm trafficked. It took me a long time to chisel who was behind it or whatever, but I had no idea. You know what I mean? I was just here living in this community trying to set my life up. And then all of a sudden all this drama comes and unnecessarily, you know, an unnecessary competition. No, I do not ever want to marry anybody that you want me to be associated with. Okay, I mean, I don't want any of that stuff. Okay, why? Because it becomes a problem. It always becomes a problem. Okay, I don't think you know how to interact with me. You don't know how to interact with me. Okay, we are two different people. Okay, and I do know that our families, you know, what you did to my family bloodline is just absolutely shocking. Okay, I don't know the whole story. Okay, believe me, I before I formulated opinions, I tried to know the whole entire story, but I do know this. Okay, I can't say what happened exactly with you and the emperor, that the whole thing. I have no idea. Okay, all I know is that there was some sort of issue. I was a kid, 7 years old, and I was taken. You know what I mean? I was taken 7 years old. You're not really responsible. You're a minor. You can't even, regardless of what you're able to do on a magical level, you still don't have an idea or concept of how the world works. I was a child. I was innocent, right? So then I end up, you know, the whole story. Regardless, however you look at it, how in the world, what kind of a person would want to bully somebody who's been that downtrodden? This is why when I think about, I'm looking into the heart and minds of people who obviously knew I was a clone of this history, of this background, and continue to think it was okay to play mind games with someone like that. Why in the world should I forgive you? Why should I not call down evil on you and not wish you dead? I'm going to ask you that question. Why should I show any mercy to anybody who's treated me that way? Doesn't that prove that you're evil for participating in something like that? You got to question that, right? Okay, so I don't think that any of my thoughts or my views or my opinions on this issue are inappropriate. I'm spot on. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I might be back with another video later on today, and the reason why is because I'm going to be doing some figuring out what I need to do, because this is not acceptable. Okay? And you need to understand, for people, celebrities who are watching my video, you know, you need to understand issues relating to human trafficking. Because if you feel as though you're in a financial tight spot and you seem like you can never get out of it, and any time that you try to venture out and do something independent to try to help yourself, and somebody's saying, no, you can't do that, you need to figure out why. See, I can't live an existence to where, you know, being ignorant is going to absorb. I'm the kind of person, my life is worth fighting for. Okay? And when I say fighting for, I'm not saying literally fighting. I mean, I try to just stay in my own lane and keep going after things based on the guidelines of the law, and I have the right to do that. Okay, I don't want to argue about it. There's nothing to argue about it. When people bring up arguments, this is why I'm saying it's important that you know your rights. When people sit here and try to say here, you can't do this, you can't do this, and they're giving you ridiculous reasons why, you need to understand that issue relating to the law is a guideline and the golden rule of what how it's going to get settled. Okay, so when anytime you deal with an argument, you're going to have to be able to say, okay, well, this is written in the law. Meaning, if the courts were to take this over and make this decision, it would be in my favor. It would be in my favor. Okay, and once it's in, it would be. Okay, and according to everything that's happened to me, I'm owed millions. Okay, so I'm trying to do the best to make my own money. Okay, because you guys have cheated me out of what was mine. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I found it very difficult for me to interact with people on Instagram, because they want to grin in your face. They do. They want to grin in your face because they feel like, oh, I got away with something. You know what? You didn't get away with it. Okay? You may think that I don't know, but I do know. Okay? You didn't get away with it. Okay? And deep down inside, you know what you did. Okay? And there's a lot of people who are torn up about what they did. Because how do you explain that, what you did, to an innocent person other than you're fucking evil? Or what came over you? No matter how you live with it, I mean, look at it. There's a lot of people who are having a hard time living with themselves. Okay? I'm just somebody who values ethics so that I don't ever have to be in a situation where I'm looking at myself realizing that I damaged another human being. I do not ever want to be responsible for causing any sort of damage, slowdown, obstruction, or harm to anybody, regardless. I understand there's people who get jealous of stuff, okay? But this is what I'm talking about, how jealousy could actually manifest itself into demonic possession, okay? So that's why I'm encouraging people, hey, if you start feeling jealous or whatever, maybe you need to figure out what it is that you're lacking. Because, you know, there's something like, for example, maybe you're looking at a house, like that blessing house. I look at the blessing house all the time. Saw it yesterday. Okay. Now, I understand that I'm not in a position to go out and buy a house. Okay. So when I look at that house, I look at it with admiration. I'm not somebody who has to have a house. Okay. So I wasn't like jealous. Okay. But let's just say I was like, you know, I wish I had a beautiful home. I'm like, okay, here's the reality. I don't have a house. Okay. Having a house is something, it's a house, okay? It doesn't compare to an apartment. But what it is about that house is I want beautification. So I don't have the ability to buy a purple tree, but you know what? This pretty purple flower plant, I could surprise, and I could put it in front of my house where the sun's going to beam down on it, kind of close to it, because that was a good idea. They have that tree positioned right where the sun's beaming down on it, and just like it literally hits the house and the tree to where like it almost looks like it's purple lighting. Okay, it looked so pretty, right? So that's not necessarily jealousy, it's admiration. And sometimes admiration is like, you know, I want to try that. Okay, and sometimes that's what it is. So in that case, if this is how you feel, mind you, I don't really, you know, recommend copying somebody's style, but basically what you want to do is you want to add beautification to your home if you were jealous of that person. Or maybe you feel like, you know, you're looking at some guy and he's got like great muscles, okay? Maybe what you want to do is you want to get more firm, realizing that there's chances are you're not going to sit here and look like that tight, okay? Because some people have very unrealistic ideas as to what their bodies are going to look like. But you need to be satisfied with the things that you can improve and try to improve it. That's all there is to it, okay? And if you can't, then look away from that person, because you know what? It's always going to be that way. Okay, if you feel like you're always going to be jealous of a person, it's always going to be pathological, then they have the right to be how they are, but you also have the right to turn away. Okay, they have the right to do what they want to do. That's just the way it is. And you have the right to not, you know, either associate with them, or you have the right to, you know, look away. Okay, but when it comes to things that are legal and binding and contract, there's no reason for you to sit here and put those kind of standards on somebody. Okay, and I do believe that some of these celebrities may have worked in situations where people did do this sort of stuff, this sort of abusive stuff to them. You know what I mean? It's abuse. Okay, and some of these people are very surprised that they even realize they had rights, because they've been treated like cattle for their entire lives. Okay, my thing is, in this world, you better know your rights. Okay, that goes for everybody, whether you're a celebrity or whatever, you're just a regular employee or whatever, you better freaking know your rights. Okay, because when the shit hits the fan, you can sit here and say, you know what, then let's take this to court. Okay, and if you don't get it to court, at least you can, even if they don't take it to court, you can at least say, okay, well, this is written in law, and you can prove it. Okay, and the reason why there's validity in showing that it would be written in the law, because you know that if you deviate from that law, someone's going to get hurt. Period. Okay, so that right there solves the fucking problem. It ends the discussion. There is no debate. There's nothing to say. It's done. Okay, and so I think I'm going to finish up with this video. I might be back with another video sometime later. We'll see how it goes. Okay, right now, like I said, I'm just going to sit here and meditate, open myself to my mind to what do I need to do, because I'm like I am so beyond disgusted of what happened. I'm disgusted. I'm offended, pissed off. Like, you know, what the hell is wrong with you people? What the hell is wrong with you people? And when I say that, it's like I'm addressing not just like, you know, people that I've addressed in the past. I'm addressing like, you know, also I'm addressing like my ex-family members and stuff like that. Now I do know, I get this message, okay, that I had family members who were basically introducing me, or certain people were interconnected to some of these celebrities, okay? and interjecting their personal beliefs and stuff like that. I am not, I'm going to tell you this right now. My views, beliefs, ideas, accomplishments, and failures are all 100% mine. Meaning, and it's always been that way. I was raised in the Gordon household with those standards and principles. Meaning, by the time I'm 18 years old, I do what I want to do. Now, let's just say, for example, I chose to live a debaucherous life. Okay, this is an example. I chose to live a debaucherous life, and I'm like, my last name is Gordon, and I choose to have, like, you know, let's just say I'm promiscuous. I'm a drug dealer. I do all kinds of horrible things. I decided to delve into this life, this dark life, okay? Still, ultimately, my failure and my debaucherous lifestyle is my own shame, okay? Because obviously that stuff was never condoned in my family household. But by the time I got to be 18 years old, I made a choice to go dive into that. Now, this is an example, so don't go around telling people that I'm a drug addict and I'm a whore or anything. I'm using this as an example, okay? But that would be my choice, okay? That does not mean after the age of 18, my family doesn't have any rights to say anything about what I do. I'm over the age of 18. And mind you, I will tell you that, and this goes for like my family back in Pennsylvania, and now that I understand that I'm related to this whole drama comes from my father, right? Okay. Now, I haven't seen my cousin Lyra in years, okay? We don't talk anymore. And chances are we probably never will talk again, okay? I don't have any issues towards them. I don't really know them that well, okay? But I will say, when it comes to anybody trying to impose their family views on me, I don't have family views. I don't have any family fucking connections, okay? Nor do I. After the age of 18, I have the right to do what I want to. And I do understand that because of this program, this pretty much severs a lot of ties with these people. Okay, because how do you sit here and pick up after this? You know, are you going to tell me? Are you allowed to confirm what happened to me? Can you be a support to someone like me who's been broken by a system? Or did you make a deal with the devil? Right? That's how it works. So, you know, you're my family, but at the same time, and I'm not wishing you any harm. In fact, I hope you guys are doing well. But at the same time, you know, this right here, this whole situation, I'm disgusted by it. Absolutely disgusted by it. Not so much with you guys, but the situation of, you know, people coming in, the experiment, how is it that people didn't know any better? Why is it, and the reason why people don't know any better, because their morals are just, they don't have any. Okay? They don't have the ability to decipher what's right and wrong. Okay, this whole thing was 100% wrong. It was genocide played out in the open. That's all it was. That's all it was. So, anyway, and I'm sorry that things had to be this way, because, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, that, you know, things turn out this way. And that, you know, people don't question, you know, what it is that they get involved in. And so, it is what it is. Okay, so I'm wrapping up this video. I'll be back with another video sometime later. Have a good week. Weekend. Ah!